Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching News 9 Live, and we're going to cut across to the very special coverage of the first batch of soldiers that have been recruited under the Agnipath scheme, who are going to be successfully completing their training program. The passing out parade is being held at INS Chilka on your television screens. Well, traditionally, the ceremony is held in the morning hours, but in the first of its kind passing out parade for the Agniveers, it is being held after the sunset.
सभी वर्दीधारी कर्मियों को लास्ट पोस्ट के लिए सलामी देनी है, जो कि पहली धुन की आवाज है, और अधिकारियों को रेवली के लिए भी सलामी देनी है, जो बुलबुलर द्वारा बजाई गई है।
तैयार है श्रीमान 1961 एप्लीकेशन पर एक साथ ओके रेडी रेडी
Well, even as the dignitaries start to trickle in, a total of 2,600 Agniveers, including 273 women soldiers who have completed their 16-week training program in the Indian Navy, are part of this passing out parade. It was 16 months of ab initio training in areas including service, academic, and outdoor. Now, the main guests of the event will also include former athletes like P.T. Usha and the former captain of the Indian women's cricket team, Mithali Raj, who are also the chief guests for the passing out parade ceremony. Senior naval officers, including reviewing officer of the passing out parade, Vice Admiral M.A. Hamifioli, flag officer, commanding in chief and Southern Naval Command, are also going to be in attendance. There are also several awards under various categories that are going to be presented to the deserving Agniveers by the chief guest, Naval Staff Chief Admiral R. Harikumar. Aerial shots from Odisha's INS Chilka. But to the sound of bugles, tributes are being paid first. the first of its kind passing out parade, usually held in the morning hours. This time around, the passing out parade of the first batch of Agniveers, 2,600 soldiers, were taking part in this particular ceremony. It is being held after sunset at INS Chilka in Odisha.
These are the visuals coming in from INS Chilka in Odisha, and paying rich tributes to the fallen heroes, much on the lines of the Amar Jawan Jyoti, Kabir, that we had earlier at the India Gate. Now it has been shifted to the National War Memorial, right adjacent to the India Gate in the national capital. And the salute to the Braveheart, customary proceedings to start the ceremony as far as the Agniveers, the first batch of Agniveers. Remember, they are passing out from the Navy, from the naval branch. And Kabir, interestingly, we would like to inform our viewers that this Republic Day on 26th of January at Kartavya we saw the same contingent members taken out from this particular branch of the Naval Agniveers who participated in the 75th Republic Day parade celebrations in the national capital in the presence of Egyptian President as the chief guest there. And now from here on, they will be proceeding towards the main grounds where the contingent of the newly recruited Agniveers, after completing 16 weeks, that is 4 months of training, are ready to hit waters.
So naval officers and dignitaries being escorted to their particular seat at the parade ground at INS Chilka. That's the contingent over there, smartly dressed in all whites. Well, a customary salute will now be invited for the guard of honor as well. The first batch of 2,600 Agniveers, smartly dressed, exhibiting discipline of the utmost order. And commanding officer now heading towards the guard of honor to the tune of the naval band, slow marching as the inspection of the contingent takes place.
And this is how, Kabir, it unfolds. We have been seeing the passing out parade at the Indian Military Academy in Dehradun, but this is something that is happening for the first time, coming live to you from INS Chilka in Odisha. And the emblem, the motto, Kabir, train to win, is something that these cadets, these newly recruited naval members would have undergone the training with the simple motto of being trained to win. The kind of energy, power they bring to all the three departments of the Indian Defence Forces, naval, Air Force and the Army. This is the first batch that is passing out from the INS Chilka training center with the motto "Train to Win," and the visuals coming live on your screens.
16 months of gruesome ab initio training, especially in the areas of service, academic and outdoor. From improving physical strength to administrative qualities. The commanding officer now on the jeep for a larger inspection of the entire contingent. First batch of Agniveers pass out. 273 women soldiers, part of the 2,600 strong contingent. Live visuals coming to you from Odisha's INS Chilka.
And talking about the medallions, the recommendations that will come or will be given away, Kabir, during this passing out parade is the General Bipin Rawat Rolling Trophy for Women Agniveer trainee, standing first in overall order of merit. This will be given to the deserving women Agniveers.
Absolutely. For the first time, an award for the woman Agniveer trainee standing first in overall order of merit. This is called the Bipin Rawat Rolling Trophy, which will continue to be given to the best woman candidate each year. And that's not all. The award will be presented by the daughters of India's first Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat.
Remember, Kabir, many credit General Bipin Rawat, late General Bipin Rawat, as the father of this very notion of Agniveers. And he was the one who mooted the idea first of including the youngsters, especially those who have just completed their class 12th, which will be roughly the age of 17 to 18 till 24, and utilizing them and inculcating a sense of discipline and service to the nation in the very youth of the country is something that General Bipin Rawat strongly believed in. And now, after his sad demise, the first batch is passing out, and something that no one had envisioned, Kabir, if I may speak frankly here. This is one of the moments which not just goes down in the history books, but also has seen many ups and downs. There were protests all across the country, if you remember, with youth complaining that why just a 4-year service would be given to them and why not longer services. But still, here we are at the cusp of history when these young recruits would be graduating from INS Chilka and marking their presence at several branches of the Indian Naval Services, and they would be contributing towards the defense, towards the safety of the nation.
Absolutely. It was on the 14th of June last year when the Defence Minister, Shri Rajnath Singh, and the 3 service chiefs launched the Agnipath scheme. From November onwards, the Indian Navy had started recruiting the Agniveers from all corners of the country. The first batch and the glimpse of that white crisp uniform that you can see from the first ever passing out parade that's taking place after sunset. The moonlight is going to shine on these white uniforms ever so elegantly. And that's not all. From now on, after passing out, these young aspiring soldiers, they will have to undergo professional training from May onwards. The successful trainees will then be deployed on the frontline warships for the sea training as well. And the day for these Agniveers is also far from over.
INS camera. INS camera.
INS कैमरा बन कहाँ से आया?
INS के YouTube live है.
You know ओडिया आता ओडिया
This is Telugu नहीं, Telugu.
तेलुगु.
Admiral Hari Kumar taking the guard of honor and also inspecting the fresh batch, the first batch of naval Agniveers. Remember, Kabir, this is the youth, the fresh blood, the new blood that we are talking about, that we are seeing on our screens. And obviously, being trained to win is something, the motto which takes them and makes them to push harder and chase their limits. And look at these visuals. Before, we haven't seen the aerial view of any passing out parade, obviously because of the strategic limitations also. But this time around, as the youth takes the charge, the shots from the drone, we saw 2 drones hovering around this whole courtyard. And obviously this also goes on to show that the defense forces are not leaving any stone unturned, and they are showing the grandeur, the class, the beauty of this whole event in full view, so that more and more young generation, youngsters get motivated to join the defense forces. And the kind of lucrative options that the defense forces have come up as far as these short services are concerned, and also beyond, above and beyond that, the position that would be offered is something that not many would want to miss out on. And this is just the beginning, as we have seen earlier. Following this would be the passing out parade of, not today, but in the months to come, from the Air Force, and then at the end the armed forces, the army passing out parade will take us to the IMA ground in Dehradun, because remember, the recruitment for the armed forces, especially the army, was the last one to have happened. First it was the naval batch that was recruited, that the admissions had stopped for that, then the Air Force, and later on the army.
And let's not forget 273 women soldiers also part of this 2,600 strong contingent. In terms of the training as well, Pankaj, it has been gruesome 16 weeks for these cadets. The day for these Agniveers would begin somewhere around 6:30 a.m. in the morning for parade and physical drills. It was then followed by a gun drill, thereafter breaking into packs, going for swimming, some heading towards arm training and firefighting exercises as well. So developing key areas for all of these youngsters so that they can then go out there and defend the country as well. At the backdrop of these beautiful visuals, you can catch a glimpse of the sea as well. It is the coastline where INS Chilka is located.
Such clear distinction there, Kabir. Victory is my profession. It's not just passion, it has become their profession. So unwavering view, unwavering target that has been already set. Victory and no less than victory is what they are aiming to achieve. And this kind of professionalism, what the Indian Defense Forces are known for, is at display here. Admiral Hari Kumar taking a closer view and taking the guard of honor, saluting each and every rank and file of the newly recruits, and in return, in a very disciplined manner, these youngsters who are just over the teen age, many of them would be around 18 to 19 years, and yet displaying such professional etiquette is remarkable. These visuals, obviously, Kabir, breathtaking. Defend land, do not. These are the mottos that are there on the barracks at INS Chilka. Obviously, Kabir, while you were mentioning about the rigorous routine that they will follow, and these things start very early, and I remember once the recruitment begins, your first day of training, it starts with Pratham Pag, as it would happen, the first step in the IMA and OTA. And the day you graduate, then you cross over the last step, which is Antim Pag. So the distance or the training from the Pratham Pag, when you are absolutely raw, and then when you take that Antim Pag, you are refined and chiseled into a very fine gentleman and gentlewoman, and then you are given the responsibility and inducted formally into the Indian Armed Forces.
These Agniveers have also been given small arms training with INSAS, the carbine and the light machine gun. They have also been taught the basics of ship, warship, helicopters and submarines as well. Guest lectures were conducted every now and then to give the Agniveers lessons on India's military history and strategic ambitions as well. So a well-rounded 16 months for these Agniveers. However, still a long way to go, for actual training begins in May before they're deployed on the warships at the front line. But these Agniveers, dressed smartly in those white uniforms, are content with the fact that they will be able to undergo any kind of hardship and achieve victory, learn skills and techniques which will open up more avenues for them post their service as well. The light doing their magic as well as the sun sets, the light doing its magic on those white uniforms as well. For the first time ever, not held in the early hours of the day, it's being held after sunset at Odisha's INS Chilka, the first batch of Agniveers passing out parade.
I'm not very sure, Kabir, that the same timing would be chosen for the passing out parade of the Army or the Air Force, but this particular timing as of now, because obviously in the naval parlance, the line of sight is of utmost importance, and inducting these very young Agniveers into the armed forces at the dusk, at the stroke of dusk, is something that also is indicative of a brighter future for them, not just for them but for the nation as well.
So the inspection has been complete, the guard of honor has been given. The drones that you see encapsulating the exact files and ranks that these youngsters have formed, the aerial view does exact justice to the kind of practice that has been put in every day, from morning till the time these youngsters must lie down to sleep as well. The Guard of Honor contingent now marching away. To the tune of Kadam Kadam Badhai Ja by the Naval Band. Arms moving in complete synchronization, heads firmly looking up ahead. And that's exactly what you want from the batch of Agniveers. Set the right precedent for the Air Force and the Army as well. The entire contingent will now march past the dais, saluting to the Admiral R. Hari Kumar. Lights doing their magic, spotlight on the leading officer.
देवी और सज्जनों, आगे बढ़ते हुए हमारे जवान अग्निवीर पहले प्लाटून का नेतृत्व करते हुए एस साई कुमार, अग्निवीर एसएसआर, कृपया तालियों के साथ इनका मनोबल बढ़ाएं।
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can now see platoon number 2 led by Harsh Agniveer SSR marching across with great pride and honor.
जवान संतोष कुटे अग्निवीर एसएसआर के नेतृत्व में कदम से कदम मिलाकर अद्भुत ऊर्जा और एकता का प्रदर्शन करते हुए आगे बढ़ रहे हमारे अग्निवीर मंच की ओर अग्रसर।
Next we have TT Vanita, Agniveer MR, leading her platoon with great zeal and enthusiasm, showcasing patriotism at its peak.
देश के हम हैं रक्षक, हमारे अगले जोशीले अग्निवीर प्लाटून की कमान संभाली है श्वेता सिंह अग्निवीर एसएसआर ने।
One flag, one land, one heart, one hand, one nation evermore. Now we have Aditya Salunke, Agniveer SSR, leading his platoon.
चार महीने की प्रशिक्षण की प्रक्रिया के उपरांत ये उभरते नौसेना।
So even as these platoons one by one march past the dais, saluting to the Admiral R. Hari Kumar, our wishes go with these youngsters so that they can go out there, honor, duty, courage, those words written on the dais, and can achieve their dreams, their aspirations on the front line as well.
The next platoon